back to ABHI Law, where law is simplified. I am Advocate Shama Patnigere, and today we are going to continue with our series on law for the protection of women and children. Today we are going to look at the National Commission for Women. This is a commission that was set up for the protection of women's rights, to safeguard their rights. Let's look at this commission in little detail through this video. Introduction. As we've been hearing all through our videos, through this entire series, that even though women in India played a prominent role, because India followed a patriarchal society, women always had to suffer from social evils against the larger group. Now, the problems faced by women, who are considered to be the vulnerable section of society, had been a matter of concern and was discussed inside and outside parliaments, by the common man, by societies, by organizations, and everyone who knew the atrocities that Indian women had to face. Knowing this background, many commissions had been set up by the government to look into the welfare of women in our society. The NCW, also known as the National Commission for Women, is one such organization. According to the reports of these commissions, all of them stated the necessity of setting up an apex body, a central body for the reviewing of and addressing of the grievance of various women all across our country from various sects. Let's look at the NCW in a little more detail. The National Commission for Women was set up in the year 1992 under the National Commission for Women Act 1990. Now, this body was established to review the constitution and legal safeguards for women. This was one of their main functions. What was it? What work does the NCW do? To summarize it, it recommends and reviews the remedial legislative measures, the facilities, the redressal of various grievances that women have, and also advises the government on all policy matters that the state needs to draft that affect women. Now, it is important to note that the NCW enjoys all the powers of a civil court. The first commission was constituted on 31st January 1992, and Ms. Jayanti Patnigere was the chairperson. Currently, Ms. Rekha Sharma chairs the chairperson of the NCW. Alok Rawat, who is an IAS officer, is the first male member of the National Commission for Women. What was the mission of this commission? Why was this? What goal did the commission strive to achieve? Now, the mission was to strive towards enabling women to achieve equality and equal participation in all spheres of life by securing women's due rights and entitlements through suitable policy formulation, legislative measures, effective enforcement of laws, implementation of schemes, various policies, devising strategies for solution of specific problems or situations that used to arise out of the discrimination and atrocities that happened against women. What was the vision of the NCW? The Indian woman should be in her home, secure both inside and outside, should be fully empowered to access all her rights that have been guaranteed to her as a citizen of India, all the entitlements that she should enjoy, with an opportunity to contribute equally in all walks of life. The composition of this NCW, since this is a commission, it has various members. Let's look at the composition of this commission. Now, the commission consists of a chairperson, a member secretary, and other 5 members. So, in all there are 7 members to the commission. The chairperson has to this commission has to be nominated by the central government. The 5 members are also nominated by the central government. Even the member secretary is nominated by the central government. Therefore, it is pertinent to note that all the 7 members who form part of the commission are all nominated by the central government. Who are these people? These people are specialists, okay, who possess experience in various fields of law and legislation, trade unionism, management of industrial potential of women, women's voluntary organization, education, administration, economic development, and social good being. Now, one of the requirements, the criteria is also that a member should be either an expert in the field of management, organization, or an officer who is a member. Now, what are the functions? Let's look at the functions of the National Commission for Women. The National Commission for Women performs any or all of these functions that we have enlisted below. The first is investigation and examination. To investigate and examine all the matters that relate to the safeguards provided for women under the Constitution and other laws. Second is presentation of reports. Since they investigate and examine, they also have to present reports based on these investigations and examinations to the central government every year or at such times as the commission may deem fit. They also make recommendations. In such reports, they recommend the various policies that need to be drafted in order to protect women, in order to protect women's rights. And they also draft these policies, recommend these policies for effective accomplishments of all these safeguards that enhance the conditions of the women by the union or the state. Fourth function that they perform is the function of reviewing. Every now and then, the current provisions of the Constitution and other laws distressing the women, they have to review, they have to prescribe alterations, suggest creative and curative legislative measures to meet any break, inadequacies and incapacity in such legislation. So basically they review legislation to see whether women are incapacitated in any way or are treated unequally in any way. The fifth is legal intervention. This is one of the main functions. The Parivarik Mahila Lok Adalat, which is also called as the PMLA, it is an innovative campaign, innovative component with its roots in the traditional Nyaya Panchalayas. Now, it was created by the NCW for the redressal and speedy disposal of cases that have been registered, that have been submitted to the NCW. As of today, the NCW has taken over 7,500 cases, and the essential feature of the PMLA is that it believes in a cordial mutual settlement, flexibility in its implementation, and it aims to empower women in the justice delivery mechanism. The sixth function is cases of violation. The commission takes cognizance of the cases of violation of women's rights or the provisions that the Constitution have made for the women's, including all other laws that relate to women with the relevant authorities. The seventh main function is suo motu notice. It looks into complaints. Once a complaint has been registered with the NCW, it looks into such complaints and on its own, suo motu notice meaning on its own, it takes matters relating to such deprivation of women's rights, non-implementation of the laws, non-compliance of any policy decisions that guarantee the welfare of women in society. The eighth feature, the eighth function. Now, there are special studies and investigations that the NCW picks up. What basically the NCW does in such things is it studies, specially or investigates particular issues that have risen up in any part of the country, or any circumstance that emerge out of segregation and outrage against Indian women, against ladies, and recognizes the limitations in order to suggest techniques for their expulsion. So, in the event, through their research, they come to know about any atrocity, any evil that is happening to a particular sect of women, belonging to a particular sect. They take cognizance of such circumstances, they take cognizance of such cases, they study, make a research as to how they can, as advisors to the policy drafters, ensure that such atrocities no longer exist. The ninth is research. Undertaking promotional and educational research so as to propose ways of ensuring due representation of women in all fields, identifying the factors responsible for impeding the support services and technologies for decreasing drudgery and professional health hazards and for escalating their efficiency. So, they take up research in all such fields cumulatively. Participation in all spheres, take part and advise on the planning process of socio-economic development of women. So, it is not necessary that NCW only would take up matters where women's rights have been for any reason infringed. They also take up matters where women cannot equally participate in socio-economic development. So, they also believe in empowering women to take up any occupation and trade. That is what the NCW does. Evaluation. Once they have completed all these functions, they evaluate, they assess the progress of the development of women under the union and the state. So many laws in place, so many guidelines, so many directions. The NCW evaluates all of this to see how far have these laws and guidelines or rules been implemented. Inspection. Once they investigate, once they examine and evaluate, they also have the right to inspect jails, remand homes, women's establishment or other places of guardianship where women are kept, to ensure that no infringement of a woman's right to life and liberty is infringed in any way, however provided under, if it is prescribed under the constitution or prescribed under any law. Funding. So they fund litigation relating to issues that affect a large body of women. So if there are litigation cases, they assist and help in funding these litigation matters. Reporting. They make periodical reports of any issue that pertain to women, and in particular various difficulties under which women toil. So as we discussed again, they report such matters. Since they evaluate, they conduct in-depth research, they also make reports. They submit these reports to the policy makers, to the state, to the government, to ensure that if there is a particular area in which women lack because of any social evil or atrocity, NCW then submits its report to ensure that in such spheres women are given equal rights. These are the functions of the NCW. So just a quick recap on what we've learned so far in this video. The NCW was set up as a commission, as an apex body to safeguard women's rights and legal protection under the constitution. It has 7 members, 1 chairperson, a member secretary and 5 other members. All these members are nominated by the central government. These members need to be people who possess special knowledge and expertise in various fields. The NCW, we've enlisted around 14 functions. It performs various functions like we discussed in the introduction of the NCW. It has all the powers that are vested in a civil code. So in addition to all of these functions, it also has the powers that are available with a civil code. This is all for today. Thank you for joining us. In our next video, we will be covering more topics on laws relating to women and children. We hope to see you there.